we both hit it. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Did we hit it? Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. I say good evening, but really good afternoon for some of us. Good morning, wherever you're watching. We are available on podcasts everywhere. Follow us at facebook.com/live reality games. So we are back. My name is Dustin. I'm one of the admins and the podcasters here. I'm joined by Liz, the host of Melbourne Survivor. We've been covering the Totem Pole for the whole season, and we're super excited for probably one of our last episodes. We're not super excited that we're done yet, but we are super excited who we have here.
Yes.
We have Josh, the season 3 winner. Josh, thank you. Thank you for being here. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here, having a blast, and I'm glad to be one of the last episodes because I won. So
we still welcome anybody that wants to spill a little bit of tea or, try to rebut things that we may have heard before. But since for the special occasion for the winner's pick, Josh, we have a special interviewer co-host with us tonight, and it's coming from us from South Florida.
Hey, Clark. How are you doing? Congratulations.
Hi, Clark. Oh, wow. Hi, baby.
I miss you.
I miss you too. Aww. It was a sweet surprise. I didn't know he was going to be here.
Thank you, Dustin, for letting me be here because I'm so happy to be a part of this and be a part of the podcast to celebrate Josh's much-deserved win.
And thanks for joining us. Clark just wrapped up filling everyone at the Live Reality Games community about his new upcoming season of The Root of All Evil coming soon to Live Reality Games everywhere. But we talked about that earlier. Liz, Clark, we are here to talk about Josh himself. So Josh, thank you again for joining us. Let's see here. How did you find out about the Totem Pole? I know you had some experience with Live Reality Games in the past. Maybe Clark can fill us in a little bit about that too. But Josh, how did you hear specifically about the Totem Pole?
Yeah, so my first experience with live games was actually the game that Clark was involved with Mayhem Manor. I met people through that game, and it kind of just spiraled into like me wanting to find more backyard style type of games. So I went to Big Brother Columbus and the Survivor Reelfoots, and then I landed on Totem Pole. And Totem Pole got me hooked, and I was like, I want to be on it, but it's only college students, so I probably can't. And then one day I saw that it was open casting for anyone, and I was like, I have to apply, and then I applied. So
well, perfect. So how was casting Josh for your game, Clark? Was Josh pretty much an instant cast for you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I knew about Josh from other online games. I'd watched him play Gilligan's Island or Klein's Big Broher series. So even though I'd never hosted Josh before, I've seen him play in other games and always knew, one, he was a great competitor. 2, he was very social. 3, he was very well liked. And 4, he was going to put his A game into every single game he played. So pretty much when he applied for Mayhem, he was an instant cast. And then when I saw him in the cast for the Totem Pole, I was like, he's going to go far. He is going to go far this season. So I'm not surprised that Josh won.
Was he your winner pick?
In Mayhem?
No, in Totem Pole.
Yes. Yeah, he was my winner in Totem Pole. Mayhem's a bit tricky because that's a 36-person cast. But Totem Pole for sure.
I was definitely not his winner pick in Mayhem. I can tell you
that. So what was your first impression, Josh, arriving on scene? You get to meet all these new people. You do recognize one person we found out from the confessional, but what's your take on everyone when you first get there?
Yeah, so for me, I was just filling out the dynamics of everything. Before Jason Kadia came in, I was like, all right, it seems like a pretty chill group of people. And then Jason Kadia walk in, I'm like, all right, everyone's going to be focused on them. How do I stand out to these two people? And I have to prioritize who's important in this relationship. As we all knew, it was Jace. So I made sure my focus was on Jace because no one was giving him any attention. And he actually did go a little further than Kadia, and it worked out for me in the end. So that was my first impressions of everyone. Derek, obviously, I was going to work with him. Who else? that's really it. That like I was like for sure Derek just like on like looking at everybody. I knew I was working with Derek. Besides that, everyone was open game, and I knew I recognized Sabrina, and talking to her was important, and we made that happen. So.
And you guys made it happen super quick. Like even after like the first episode, you guys were like a threesome right then. You, Shane, and Sabrina, and Derek.
Yeah,
as well.
it was fast. Like on the show, it makes it seem like it was like 5 minutes. It probably was like 5 or 10 minutes. Like it was really quick how that all formed together. So.
Well, we got some quick little shout outs here. Sabrina,
hey, Sabrina.
Right, Sabrina.
And then a little shout out from Lance.
Hey, Lancey Poo.
So, we want to take a quick stroll down memory lane here and talk about your experience on the Totem Pole. So, you get there, like you said, you meet your people, you get your first challenge, running up a hill with weights. How fun is that, right?
Oh, the best. For this challenge, I was in jeans, as we all saw. And I don't run often, but when I do, I don't wear jeans. So I really wanted to change. That was like my only gripe with it. I was like, I want to change, but no one else was changing because it was the first challenge. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. But I had a strategy going into it. I was like, Nicole's not going to make it up there that quick. Kadia's not going to make it up there that quick. So as y'all saw, I was walking when I wanted to walk. I was jogging when I needed to jog. But when I needed to sprint, I sprinted. And I was probably one of the strongest people in that challenge. I almost won the first challenge. So
yeah, so you won a match, and then did you give the bag to Connor? Is that what happened?
Oh man, is that what? It is so long ago. I would probably believe you if that's what. Yes. I know because I won 2 matches. I won the first one. I think I gave it to Connor, and then the last match that I won was right before I like got all of the baggage. I don't remember who I gave it to, but I just knew I wasn't winning. Mm-hmm. So I stood at the bottom of the hill and just clapped for whoever.
And we'll get back to the clapping a little bit later. But yeah, technically, you went to give Connor the bag, but Maddie actually volunteered to take the bag. And then on the last round, before the final, I think 5 people raced, you selected Jada. And then once Jada was out of that challenge, she gave you all the weights and eliminated you, essentially.
That happened. Yes. Mm-hmm. I guess I deserved it at that point. Tit for tack.
In the end, it all worked out.
In the end, yeah. That round, I wasn't really, stressed. It really could have gone anyway, but yeah, that's what happened.
Was Josh this competitive too in Mayhem, Clark, when he played your game? Yes. I mean, I could tell like Josh was there to win. He put his A game into every single challenge that was there. So he definitely was there to win. It's just the challenges that there were in Mayhem, it's like they are very, very difficult. So I think it was great preparation for Josh going into Totem Pole, because when you have to interact with 35 other people to try and avoid being eliminated, and then you go into a house where you only have to interact with 13 people, it definitely worked out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, definitely the ratio, the scale. I think I did a lot of what I learned from Mayhem going into the Pole. Over half in Mayhem, because I believe it was over half. And I'm like, I can around 13 other people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the first opportunities that Josh had to play up? Josh, you actually kind of spoke up about wanting to be the switch the first round, but I know Kadia ended up being the switch. Was that a strategic move for you to step down from wanting that spot?
Yeah, so once Kadia like jumped in, was like, hey, I want it. Everyone was like for it, so it's gonna look weird if I'm fighting that. And at this point, I have to pick and choose my battles. They don't really know who I am. They don't know what I'm about. So I had to kind of blend in with the group at that moment. But I wanted that switch. I want power in the game. Like, I wanted to be able to make moves and decisions. Would I have probably done the same thing Kadia did? Maybe. I don't think I would have rocked the boat the first round. But I just wanted to make sure I had the switch because I didn't want no one to switch me.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of wanting power, Derek also wanted a lot of power, and he actually set precedents for the season of choosing not to save the first round. As a super fan, Josh, were you like surprised by that?
Yes, just because I saw Nicole and Derek talking a lot, and I was like, okay, that might be a bond. You know, we all come from like the orc community, so like maybe there's something there. And Derek was like, I don't want y'all to get it confused or nothing, but like, I'm not with her. So in a sense, I was surprised, but like looking back at it and watching it, kind of was probably the best move for his game because that would have been an attachment, a liability for his game. He saved Nicole, but if Nicole can't navigate and, you know, migrate into the group, you know, correctly or properly for that situation, Derek is also attached to that. I don't think that was the, you know, the least of his worries at that moment. I think he had other things to worry about, but I do think it was a smart move on his end to pick power.
If he did hit save, like Liz would have gotten further in her picks, that's for sure. So
Nicole was a pick for a lot of people. A lot of people were rooting for Nicole. A lot of people like Clark, you can probably attest to this. Like in our community, like in the org community, everyone's like Nicole, Nicole, Nicole. And like I know what happened, so I'm just sitting here like, oh my, oh no.
At Nicole going first.
I can't because I can't say anything, and like I was on calls sometimes. They're like, Nicole better not be first boot, and I'm like, oh, we'll see. And I'm like, oh boy, they're hopefully they tune into the rest of the season.
I was hosting Nicole at that time in Tonga, and I think she was the only person from Totem that was playing my game. So I was like, yes, Nicole, you got this. You're gonna make this so far. And I watched episode 2, and I'm like, you did your best. I hope you win the battle back. If there is one.
It's probably the same experience too, because before we got on with Josh and Clark here, Liz and I were catching up about Backyard Survivor, and I was rooting for my person, and so Liz probably knows exactly how the game goes, and she's just laughing about my predictions as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. What a good time.
And then, of course, speaking of Nicole, we do have a cast assessment coming out pretty soon for Mayhem Manor that's starting later this week. So definitely stay tuned for that and watch our assessment. And hint, hint, I did put Nicole pretty far in my assessment. So hopefully she can bring it back from the totem pole.
I'll be there, so we'll see. So
after the first vote and selection, Josh, you're safe. You're doing pretty well. And then we get to voting time. Some people are going for Jace, and you are not having that. You don't want Jace to go home. So explain the moves, because it seemed like you had to make a lot of strong moves to save Jace that first round.
Yeah, so whenever I got the chance, I'm like, I'm not voting out Jace. Jace seems to be a target for a lot of other people in the house, in the game, but he all he did was just walk in. Like, he hasn't had a chance to really, you know, get in the group. So, like I said before, Jace was somebody I want to work with because I knew no one else wanted to work with Jace. And forming that strong bond, who else would Jace have besides, you know, Kadia and, you know, eventually Luke? I had to make that bond a little early. So Asher had to go that route. I personally did not want it to be Asher, but that was the only other name that was gaining traction besides Jace. And I was like, well, Jace can't go home first, so then it has to be Asher. So,
wait, so was there someone else who you wanted it to be, like ideally?
I believe Jackie was in the bottom the first round, and Jackie was who I wanted to push initially. But like I said, there was no traction on that. There was nothing there. The two names that were already pushed were Asher and Jace. And like I said, if I don't need to cause any waves the first round to put a target on me, I'm not. So that's why I went with Asher instead.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was my pick too. So thanks, Josh. So you really did great by me and Liz already. So we do have someone here to check you out, though. Steve, hey Steve, for checking us out. And
he's not my old coworker, but yeah, we work together.
We also have a question there. Should we?
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that, Liz. Thank you.
Yeah. Asking if you would have sent Nicole home first. I guess if you were the defender instead of Derek.
I'll answer it in both styles. If I were the defender or if she was in the vote. And I believe the answer, if I were the defender, I think I would have sent her home. I didn't have any allegiance to her, any real alliance to her. And then in the vote, I don't think I would have sent her home. I think Asher, Jackie probably would have been there, and Jace. So I think there would have been other options besides Nicole. And they would have seen Nicole already being, target on maybe for that first round. I think that would have been her angle. Like, hey guys, I almost just went home here. I can, use me. Because Nicole's good at these games. You give her a little bit of time to get in the gig, she can navigate. So I felt like maybe if they gave her that chance during the vote, she would have been good. So yes, if I were to defend her, no, if she was in the vote.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that brings us to our next challenge. It starts with the number challenge, more or less challenge, but then they pull a fast one on you and turn out the touchy subjects, one of Liz's favorite games. You were actually the first one to get a question right, and you moved Jada. Was that, were you going for Jada after giving her the weights in the first round and everything? Was this payback? Is that what it was, probably?
It was just payback. Why ruffle too many other feathers when Jada's already there? Jada also already just lost Asher, and no one's really filling her and Maddie in the trio. So I don't need to make any new enemies. Jada already moved to me, she already gave me baggage in the last challenge. So yeah, go ahead. You can get the blocks. Can I say though, I had no idea that so we had to do our diary rooms, and we had to when you walk in to vote, they gave you a sheet of paper and they're like, hey, write down all this stuff. And those were the questions. And I'm like, oh, maybe, storytelling, so they can kind of know what's going on in the house, because they can't be everywhere at the same time. So I was like, oh, they're really doing this. They're smart. They're working it. No, it was for the challenge, and I was so upset, because I was like, they're gonna see my answers, and I was pretty honest in everything I said, because I was like, who's my number one? And it was Sabrina, and at that point, Derek thought I was his number one, as Derek put me. So, but I got really, really lucky that I didn't have to reveal my answer then, because Derek and Jace, I believe, put it up first, and I was like, all right, I don't have to reveal anything, and I erased it, and I bowed out.
And I think it was actually Jace that eliminated you, Josh. So
yeah, and that's fine. I take it as a blow. For me personally, whenever I play games, just because someone takes you out of something or knocks you or does you wrong, it's honestly sometimes it can be an opportunity to really build something later. It can build trust. Like, hey, I know you did me wrong, but I'm not mad at you. Let's work on it. So, and that's just a life lesson too. So
it's great. You actually, congratulations, you did win for the funniest, by the way, as a reminder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it, but I was like, I'll take it. I'm just myself.
So at the time, you did hit Sabrina up as your number one, you said. When did Shane get involved in this little alliance you had going on? I think it was pretty soon after that.
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it was the previous round. Because I believe in episode 2 was when we were in that room and we're like, I want to work with you. You want to work with me. And either episode 2 or it's either episode 4. It's one of the two. And I knew Sabrina had Shane and they knew I had Derek. So that's when that came about. Me and Shane didn't really talk much at all in that round, really until the end, which I know we'll get to. But yeah, me and Sabrina, we knew who our ones were, and that's where the 4 came from. But Derek soon left after.
Unfortunately, but also fortunately at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of Derek going home, Derek does get sent home, and then they have the comeback challenge. So now we're down to Asher, Nicole, Jada, and Derek. Was your money on Derek pretty much the whole time?
No. My money was on Nicole. The whole entire time I was like, no. I was like, Nicole's coming back. Nicole's coming back. That's all I kept saying. Well, because we were all sitting on the couch. I'm like, it's Nicole. It's Nicole. And then Derek walks in, and I was shocked. I was like, how did he pull it out? And then I watched the challenge with you guys, because we didn't even know what the challenge was till I got home. And I was like, oh yeah, this is Derek's to win. So.
I was like, he is tall, he's got a long arm, he's just like, I was like, Derek's winning this for sure.
100%.
I was still hoping Asher had some like ninja skills or something. She'd be like, she's the shortest one, I think, out of all of them. Maybe she could like sneak away or something, but no, it's okay.
It's kind of, I'm thankful that it was Derek, because had it been literally anyone else, that would have been a number for Shane. And Shane would have just been stronger. And I don't know. I'm really glad it was Derek, because Derek was more so on my side. Yes, hey Carly. I'm literally answering now. Yes, I was so happy it was Derek, just because literally anyone else it could have been, I wouldn't have had probably a stronger number. But me and Derek were never targeting each other until we had to. And then for me, it was that final four. But we'll get there.
No, Carly, thanks for the question. Like, Josh was already like one step ahead of you, though. Like, he was on for most of this game on a lot of people. But Carly, keep them coming if you have more questions about Josh's gameplay or anything that happened on the show. Be glad to throw them out there for you. We don't know you yet, but Carly, I like you at least. Not love you at least.
Hopefully soon. She's a super, super Survivor fan. So like, I'm trying to.
Perfect.
We'll get her in the game one of these days.
Yeah.
All right, you've been promoted. Love you already, Carly. Thank you. So we have Josh coming back, and of course, not Josh coming back. We have Derek coming back, and he does this grand thing. And what was your take? Like, if anybody else had coming back, like Asher wasn't going to run in there like that. So.
No, I think you guys saw. I was just like shocked. I think I was the first to stand up, and I was just kind of like, "Are you kidding me? Like you come back." He was this big entrance. He busted his. He fell, and I thought that was the funniest thing. And it was this typical Derek fashion. Nothing can phase this guy. Nothing can bring him down. Even him falling and making an ass of himself. Like he will turn that into like, yeah, I did that, but you're gonna want it again. You're gonna want to see it again. And honestly, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
So then
Sorry,
this,
I'm calling you.
no, you're the popular. Everyone's calling you for Root of Evil. Applications don't open until later, so everyone hold the phone, okay? Not yet. So speaking of alliances and whatnot, this is the time that, at least from our perspective, you make a kind of, it sounds like a final two alliance with Jace. You compliment him about his gameplay, and you say, I want to bring this guy to the end. Tell us a little bit about the Jace alliance there.
So Jace is somebody you want to stroke their ego a little bit, and he felt really good about everything I was saying, and that's what I want to play up. I also kind of had some truth to it, though. Like, if it worked out in the end, I would have taken Jace if I needed to. If that's how the cards fell, but I already have my 3-person alliance and then Derek. So at that point, I didn't need Jace anymore. But had it been that way and had Jace and like some other people in the final four with me, I would have taken them. My whole goal was to go against people who I felt like played a similar game to me or a strong game as me. So that way it's kind of more of an even fight. And I felt like that would have made me sound better. But yeah, no, I definitely wanted to work with Jace in the long haul, and he loved it too. We worked together a lot and talked a lot, and that was that.
You worked together until Jace won this next challenge, and then lo and behold, like he puts 2 of your top people on the bottom.
Correct. Correct. I was like, all right, this is not what we talked about, but like how do I tell Jace that, hey, my real alliance is who you just put in the bottom? So I was like, I'm gonna have to find a way out of this. I'm definitely not voting them out. So, and it worked out because it was the switch. I had no idea I was gonna get the switch either. So, but it was. You have a question on it?
Yeah. Did you? You said you had some hesitation about choosing Sabrina to save over Shane. Do you think that was still the right decision? Of course, everything worked out in the end, but looking back, should you have saved Shane or stuck with Sabrina?
Let me think about it. No, because Sabrina ended up being the top at some point. Sabrina ended up being the switch at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I have to show my allegiance where I could, and I physically have talked to Sabrina about our alliance a lot more than Shane. So it would have been a little sus had I chosen Shane over Sabrina. So it was a no-brainer for me to switch Sabrina out. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think that payoff too came a few challenges later when you got a little hint along the way for that balcony.
True.
So, let's see here. But the real person you should have switched out from her perspective was Madison. Madison did not take very well to you forgetting about her for a moment. How did you try to rekindle that, or was there a lost cause?
Damage control.
Yeah, I don't think that was really a priority of mine. Like, Madison's cards didn't really faze me. I was never in a position where it would have affected me personally. So when she was upset I didn't switch her, I was like, I'm sorry, but like, there's no real. I literally told her, I was like, there's nothing. You're giving me nothing. Like, there's a scene where I'm like, you're giving me nothing, like, to work with. Like, you want to work with me, but like, there's no meat, there's no substance to it. And when you don't give me that, very one-sided. And I'm like, you can't do that, baby girl. So of course I'm going to switch someone who's actually talking to me, giving me information, and it just was not Madison. So.
What was your take, Clark, about the season about Madison being so secretive about her cards the entire game?
I mean, what I was sort of thinking was when I watched Madison's game and I saw her reaction basically to being in the bottom 5, even if aside from her reaction to Josh not saving her, it was multiple rounds when she was in the bottom 5 and nobody was really coming to her aid and nobody was really being on her side. So it's like, okay, first time, I understand. Now it's the second time. Now it's a third time where somebody's not coming to your side. And it's like, I feel for her. I've been in that position where it's like, okay, nobody's really coming to your side, but you got to get the message. Like, this is the third time it's happened. So when you're being that secretive about your cards and you've been in that position multiple times, it's like, okay, you got to get with somebody close. You got to share it with somebody that you think is a close ally to try and get yourself out of this position. Because otherwise, it's just going to happen again and again and again and again. And it does until she's eliminated.
Somebody that was there for somebody at the bottom, though, Jackie finds herself in the bottom, and she thankfully is saved. However, there's a special twist, and they have to re-rank. So after the re-rank, Josh, you're safe and everything. However, Tessa is sent home. You said in one of the confessionals afterwards that maybe she wasn't the most jury-worthy person, or somewhere to that extent. Tessa?
Did I say that? Did I say that about Tessa?
You did. You said it.
I don't remember saying that.
Did you not have enough gameplay from her? So,
I mean, honestly, I didn't really talk much game with her the entire time. And I don't know if you guys saw the conversation with me, her, and Jace on the balcony. Did you guys see that? I don't know if it aired. Okay, so basically me, Jace, I don't think it did. But behind the scenes, we're on the balcony round 2, and Tessa is just sitting there. I believe it's Tessa. Yeah, it's Tessa. She's just sitting there, and she's expecting us to like help her, like guide her through this game. And I'm just kind of like, no, baby girl. It was giving me very last season homegirl playing with the dominoes or the cards. Who was it? Oh my god, I forgot.
Rachel?
Alontis.
No. Alontis.
Yeah.
Alontis. She was just playing with the cards and not really campaigning for votes. And I'm just kind of like, this is not going to be the same thing that happened last season where you're just sitting here chilling and then we're all trying to campaign to get you to stay and then you get second place. That's not going to work out. No, ma'am. So, but I will say this because it's very overlooked. I was really nervous I was going to be put in the bottom. And here's why. I just formed an alliance with Jace. I just messed up Jace's totem pole by switching Sabrina from the bottom to the top. And both Jackie and Jace have good reason to not only put me in the bottom, but probably just send me home. because I didn't converse with them at all why I took Sabrina out of the bottom, but they both, for whatever reason, well, we know the reason why. Jace was working with me, and they're like, we got to keep Josh. And I'm like, all right, it seems like I have a lot of power here and not a lot of, repercussions from it. So
it's the Josh Calhoun mist.
It's a little, everyone falls in line, and I just kind of do what I want.
Well, it helps. Yeah, and it helps being, I think, the funniest too. Like, I'm sure, like, not even this, if they don't talk in the same room, they hear you laughing and the joy that you're spreading to people. They're like, oh yeah, he must be pretty cool. So I'll save him.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Now, after that swap and everything, you actually, just a little side note, you've donned a new outfit at that time that you wear, I think, throughout the rest of the night.
Oh yeah, my little cute little hoodie thingy.
Yeah, so where did that come from? Like, that just came out of nowhere. Like, one scene you're in like a hoodie, and then next scene like total like Audrey Middleton, like Big Brother, like without the sunglasses.
It was giving very much so that y'all. So it was a long day. We're in round 3. I think at that point it was 7 o'clock. We were up at like 8, 7 that morning. So I'm tired. I'm real tired. And production member Sydney, one of the filming woman, she had this little blanket thing. And I was like, that looks cozy. And if anyone knows me, I just love being cozy and comfy. So I got in it and I was like, we're going to play the round in this. And I was just chilling. No one really said anything except for her. She's like, oh my God, he's wearing that. And then Wesley was like, is that okay? She's like, yeah, I don't care. So I was just really comfy the entire time in it.
Oh, good. It's super important, besides all the competition, comfy, that's like your first concern. Safety, at least I'm comfy though, right?
Well, because I was safe at that point. Like I'm not in the bottom 5, so I can get some comfort here. I can think about who I want to vote out, and I'm a huge component in making sure the small things are taken care of so you can handle the big things in life. Whenever my friends are having issues, I'm like, all right, you drink enough water. Like, those things help you think, and they help you, those are things you're not thinking about when there are bigger issues. So yeah, I'm going to be comfy when I'm thinking about a vote, because I'll probably forget to be comfy if I don't.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you got like 12 rounds of Totem Pole in like 5 minutes. So if this is like 1 minute in that day when you can like kick your feet up, relax, grab a cozy blanket, do it. Like, grab that life of comfort when you can.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Now, you're kind of familiar with fast gameplay. I know Totem Pole was super quick and Mayhem Manor. Do you think, Josh, you're more suited for like the super quick games, or could you see yourself doing like a Survivor kind of thing, where like an extended like a week event?
I would say, just based off of my experiences, I've been in the org community since 2014, January 1st to be exact. That's my anniversary. And I've never won an org, actually. Never. In my 6-year career, the furthest I've ever gotten was third place in a Survivor game and a Big Brother game, but I can never win a long-lasting org. I say this because I believe I'm more fit for these short-term games where you see me for a second, I laugh, I'm cute, I'm adorable, I'm serving you, beautiful skin, beautiful, moments, and strategy that you can't really see because it happens so fast. So I do think these shorter games, these backyard style games, are more what I'm suited for. That being said, I think I could see myself on like the goal. If I lost some weight and learned how to swim, I could do Survivor. I can't swim, so Survivor is just Dustin, we gonna be first boots on our truck because we can't swim.
I'm gonna have like the life jacket and just kind of like doggy battle to the shore.
And I'm scared to do that. Like, I went snorkeling last year with some coworkers, and I was like, I can't do this. I literally needed like support while I was out there. So like, honestly, these little short games are perfect. And honestly, to add to that, the whole swimming aspect, Clark can tell you, last year at Mayhem, there was a swimming competition I had no idea about, but I always dodged it because the first time it was the buyback, and the second time I was out of the game. So like, we were in the clear, out of the water. So
Josh told me pre-production, he's like, whatever you do, do not put me in a swimming challenge. And I'm like, I can't. I'll do my best.
I promise that.
Literally what he said. He was like, I can't say much.
But as somebody that has played one of those 8-day long games, like, it's a grind. And if I had the social game that Josh Calhoun has, maybe I wouldn't have gotten 23rd place in Real Foot.
Well, that was an especially large cast that year too
Wow.
for 23rd place. So,
But I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend like a long-term game, because I do see, like, seeing you play Mayhem and now seeing you play Totem Pole, you play the short-term game beautifully, just perfectly. And I think that you are capable of playing a long-term, week-long game. I can absolutely see you doing it.
I would totally do Real Foot. Real Foot seems fun. I have a lot of friends that play Real Foot. But
Is he frozen for you guys, or am I frozen?
yeah, it's okay. We just nod our head. Yeah.
Was it me that was frozen?
Yeah.
A little, yeah.
It's okay. But how would you think about surviving in the wilderness now? Because Liz, you've had that experience, and you've dealt with like bugs and sleeping out in the woods and whatnot. And Josh, how do you feel about that, sleeping outside?
I do it, for a buck. You do it. You would do it too. Like I would totally, yeah. Like, so I think it would be fun to just kind of camp. I've always wanted to go camping. It's been something on my list of things to do, and I feel like that would be the same experience. I wouldn't go into it thinking one thing. I definitely would go into it like, all right, what's gonna happen? So I don't want to assume something's gonna happen, and then like I get hit with something that's just gonna make me spiral, and then I'm not thinking, and then I forget to drink water or something. So like, I definitely want to go in with an open head and expect literally anything to come my way. So,
well, I don't know if you expected the next challenge, but the next challenge, we're bringing it back to the totem pole here, was the kind of like the riddle challenge, where you were given symbols and you had to unscramble the words and figure that out. You were actually given pretty much the answer to that. Did you expect that at all to be the outcome of the challenge?
No. Let me tell y'all. So before we even did this challenge, production's just chilling, and I'm like, we're done pretty early today. Should we do another one? And everyone in the cast is like, absolutely not. We're done. We're tired. Which is why I was getting cozy, because I was like, oh, we're gonna definitely go to bed, and I just wanted to make it a day 2, because I know from my experience in Mayhem, like, I don't want to be a day 1 boot. Like, that's not fun. I don't want to watch everyone playing the game. So when he was like, round 4, here we go, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, my brain is fried. So when we had to do that puzzle, I'm like, all right, cool, it's together. But like, me and like memory things, I know I can do it if I really try hard. I know I can, but I wasn't. So I was walking back and forth. And honestly, like, if the house really gathered what I was doing and how I was doing it, I was comfortable. Somebody who's just walking back and forth, Derek was sweating. Derek is sweating. And I'm just sitting here walking, and I just win this competition because Sabrina's like, balcony. And I'm like, all right, well, y'all know me. I'm working smarter, not harder. I'm not breaking a sweat for this. So I go outside, and I knew I was in the right place, just because I was like, all right, people are following me out here. Camera crew's following me out here. Jace eventually comes out here. Maddie comes out here. So it's a race to find it. And I was like, literally anybody but Maddie. Like, Maddie can't find, because Maddie's mad at me. So when I got it, I was like, made it to day 2. I know me and my girls are, at least I thought me and my girls were safe at that time. So I was like, all right. But no, to answer your question, I did not expect to win the challenge.
But it was kind of the payback for the saving Sabrina too. That's what she said. She's like, well, he did me good that time. I'm going to do him good this time and solidify this alliance. So it was really great that you made that decision early round. Like, it was perfect. So nice job.
Yeah.
The Let's see. But you do have a tough decision now. It is your turn to be the top of the totem pole. Like, there are so many different scenarios you could pick, so many people you can choose, and who to put on the bottom. So talk us through your reasoning. You, just to recap, you put Shane, Jace, Sabrina, and then the bottom. So
Yes. So I had no idea what I was going to do because at this point I'm connected to pretty much everyone minus Jackie and Maddie. I've talked to them a little bit, but there's just no real allegiance there. I've talked to Kadia. We're good. I've talked with Derek, talked with Jace. Through all of that, Luke is connected. And then the rest of the people, I'm good with. So I had no idea how I'm going to rank this, and there was only 3 safe spots. So going into it, I was just going to do Sabrina, Shane, and Derek. Jace was going to be at the bottom. However, I told Jace this, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Jace is strong here, and I don't want to give Jace the opportunity to just take me out because of something I did the round before. So I really looked at my options. I looked at everyone. I was like, all right, well, Derek won't be too mad. Kadia won't be too mad either because who would be mad with her? And then Maddie and Jackie have been at the bottom the entire time, so they have a lot of people to be mad at, not just me. And then that leaves Luke. And everyone's just kind of confused about why I'm targeting Luke. But if there's one thing anyone knows about me, I'm not doing anyone's dirty work. So I'm not going to put Maddie at the bottom because everyone wants Maddie gone. If I have power and an opportunity and it's the middle of the game, I'm going to do what I need to do to build a resume here. And that's targeting Luke, who literally is connected. If I don't know what Luke is thinking or how he's connected, that means he's telling other people, and he's not telling me this, so he has to go. So that was just my whole point. Even if he didn't go home that round, which he didn't, at least people have that image and that scenery painted of Luke being a target of somebody who I want to go after. So those are seeds I was planting literally during my totem pole, and I couldn't have been more happy with how it turned out.
Do you reckon that was like part of like what gave you the edge, like at the end, just having like that open like move that you made?
Yeah, I really do not know what it was. I like just going through the scenarios of who I could put at the bottom. I'm like, well, I put Maddie there. I'm like, it doesn't serve me any good to put Maddie there. I told Jackie I wasn't putting her at the bottom, which was true to some extent. She was in the bottom 5, but not the bottom. And I'm not putting Kadia or Derek there. Literally, Luke, I honestly, at that point, after weighing all the options, was probably my only option at that point.
And I will say, I think that was a really smart decision, just mainly because you could tell, like, as a viewer just watching it, you could tell that Luke was a number for somebody else's game and was working. Yeah. He was working well with somebody else's game, but I never really saw him work into Josh's game. And that was a smart Josh move to take somebody that was probably playing the middle, was probably playing safe, like never really was going to be a target. But I think that was such a really smart move to go with instead of Jackie and Madison, who anybody could have put them at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's see here. And then if you hadn't put Luke at the bottom, he got the switch and he had a big scene, and then we wouldn't have gotten the surprise from Shane. Like, backing up just a moment, what was your reaction to Luke getting his little switch? I'm
one where when I don't get my way, I have to really process it before I say anything or react. So you probably just saw me just kind of like for real. Like, is this what we're going to do? Like, you're going to really ruin my plans, which is, ruining his plans because I put him at the bottom. But no, I didn't know what to think. So I'm like, well, who the hell's going to go home now? Like, everyone else, like, if it was Maddie or Jackie, fine. But Shane, like, Shane's a number for me. So it was risky business for sure.
Now, when Shane was chosen, were you aware that Shane had that power card?
Nope. But Shane gets moved to the bottom, and I make eye contact with Shane, and Shane's like, I got you. And I don't know what that means. He didn't tell me anything. And y'all knew, like, just watching, me and Shane didn't really talk much at all. We knew we were working together, but that was part of, in my mind at least, that was part of the strategy. If I don't got to talk to you to know we're working together, and then we come back once every round and compare notes or do what we got to do, that's all I need. And I put a lot of trust in Shane with that. So
did it really help your two alliance to work with Sabrina in between you two? Like, it seemed like it was more like Josh working with Sabrina, Sabrina working with Shane, and then it's like Shane and Josh working together at the end. Was it really like Sabrina really held you guys together?
I would 100% say Sabrina was the glue. Without Sabrina, I don't even know if me and Shane would have found each other, just because Shane had other agendas, other ideas. Like, he worked with Maddie and Jackie for, I think, all of 5 minutes. It was very, very, very short-lived, but it was definitely something. It was short-lived, but very strong because he got those 2 votes in the end. So whatever he was saying to those ladies, like, they
he got the switch. He got the switch the next round that took him out of the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So he was doing something, and I don't know if Sabrina wasn't there. I think Shane would have probably been a target of mine. I think I would have went after Shane in the game, but I had no reason to because we're working together, and I saw our games pretty similar, which they're very similar.
So let's see here. However, this next round, Luke is on the bottom. Then you switch, you make the comment for the clown costume, so nice job. That's like a big takeaway from this season too. There's literally merchandise that says that on there now.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have any merch, and I was like, you know what? I do have merch because I literally created that. I coined it, and it's literally fitting for that round. And I take a lot of pride in being the most chaotic round. I'll just say it. Like, round 4 of season 3 of the Totem Pole is easily one of the best rounds of reality TV and backyard games and all of it's so good from start to finish. Like, it's beautiful. The chaoticness of me winning the challenge from Kadia was so upset. She was so upset that I won that without knowing. Like, I'm like, I don't know what it was. I think it says the top of the Totem Pole necklace is on the balcony. Is that what it says? I think that's what it says.
Sabrina.
I mean, it's a chaotic round, and Maddie, it's beautiful.
But unfortunately, the voting round ends up in a tie. 3 for Luke, 3 for Jackie. You really have the outlook of sticking up for Jackie and being saved, and unfortunately that doesn't really turn out very well in your favor. It does in the end, of course, but in that time period, Jackie volunteering to go home after you, Shane, Sabrina just like said your alliance to everyone. This could have been the end of your game. How did you take that, or how did you recover?
There were 2 things that were going in my mind. I'll start with the bad. I went to bed that night feeling defeated because I worked really, really hard to get to where I wanted to be at. I had all my ducks in a row, basically. So I felt like her giving up was like the biggest slap in the face, not only to me, but like Shane, your alliance member, is going to bat for you. Like, you can't leave him hanging like that. But the good thing is, this showed me who I need to ride with, and that was always Sabrina and Shane. And I asked those 2, I was like, hey, can you guys tie this? Like, if they didn't tie it, I would have been like, all right, they're not with me. They're just for themselves. But they tied it. And that showed me that they're willing to put their game on the line for themselves to help me get further, because I was safe regardless. But it showed me a lot of allegiance, and it was a very, very important detail as to why I stuck with them till the end. So
let's see. So our next challenge, let's see. Jace wins and convinces Kadia and Derek are together to Jace. Like, you definitely convinced Jace. You two, what seems from the episode, you two have a very long talk out on that yard. Talk us through those options, I guess.
It really was not much of like me convincing Jace to go after anybody in particular. It was really just making sure me and Jace were good. Because I knew if Jace put, let's say it was Shane or Sabrina or even Derek that was still at the bottom, I was choosing save. So I knew no matter who he put at the bottom, if I'm the defender, I'm choosing save. We knew Shane was going to be the switch just based off of previous relationships. So we didn't have to worry about that. I'm very shocked that Derek was the bottom, because I really thought he would have did Sabrina. that would have made the most sense. Like thinking about all his relationships in the game. Like, you don't want to mess me up because we're working together. Derek, you're working. He literally voted with you last night. Like, I don't know what happened in between all of that, but really was just making sure I was good. And I told him, I was like, hey, if you got to put me at the bottom, I'm okay with that. Because I knew I was good. I knew they're not going to probably vote me out. I knew, but like, I just was doing whatever I could to make it to final 6 with the vote. So
I think one of the main things that you said in that conversation was if you take Derek out, Kadia is going to be your ride or die Jace. So you have to get Derek out. And that's just how I understood that conversation. So.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think I probably did say that. And I think it's just because I believe he brought up Derek first. I don't think I brought up Derek first to him. So when he threw it out to me, I'm like, well, if that's what you're going to do, then you're going to have this benefit from it. So it's not necessarily me trying to target Derek or get him to go after Derek. I'm like, if this is your option, then this is going to leave you with this. And that was just me kind of helping him kind of paint his picture for what he's going to do in the following round. So, stroking that eagle like I've always been doing.
Yeah, I remember watching that episode back because I remember Jace was the one that did bring up Derek's name to you, and you had mentioned, oh, okay, you're bringing up Derek, all right. But the way you maneuvered that round, because you had Derek coming to you shortly afterwards about the conversation that you had with Jace, and I was like watching it back, I was like, is Josh going to be in danger because of this? Like, is Josh going to be in the bottom? And you just maneuvered that so masterfully. Like, it was amazing to watch because you had both Jace and Derek happy, and you had Shane and Sabrina completely solid. Like, you had them safe. And I was like, how the hell did he do this? How did this happen? Like, Jace and Derek were completely listening to you, understanding, and I was like, this is beautiful.
So for me, I didn't understand the power of that move until later on. Like, watching it back, I'm like, holy shit. How did no one catch on to that? I literally held the most power at the final 6 by having literally, like, no one's targeting me. No one's going after me except for Luke, and they should have listened to Luke. But I don't think Luke coming after me was because of him understanding my strategic game. I think it was just him targeting me because I'm targeting him. But yeah, just going through the motions of that move, basically I was like, no, I technically didn't lie. Like, he said he was gonna put you at the bottom, but like, I didn't know he was gonna put you at the bottom of the totem pole. Mm-hmm. And it was very, very specific. I manipulated his wording, and they all kind of ate it up. And at the end of it, I think Jace apologized to me because I was like, I'm not a liar, and you're making it seem like I'm a liar. And he's like, I'm sorry. And then Derek at some point was like, all right, no, yeah, we're good. Because like, Derek didn't want to make me upset, and then Jace obviously doesn't want to make me upset either because he knows I'm a strong player. Because I'm telling him like, hey, we're both strong. We need each other. So I definitely think it's one of the best moves, if not the best move of the season, to just kind of get everyone on my side and like, look, I didn't lie about this. And it was, I think it was interrupted too. There was no confessionals in between it. It just all happened very, very seamlessly. It flowed really well. I kind of watch it every now and then just to kind of get a serotonin boost. It's really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, like they did a flashback to it when you were having the conversation with Derek. And just to be like, did Josh really say this? And Josh was like, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and say Derek. And then you're like, I didn't lie. Jace brought up Derek's name, and Derek did eat it up completely. That was a beautiful move. Beautiful move.
Thank you.
Now, what might not have been a beautiful move by Derek's part in any means, he played out a card, and then Katia ends up going home. Did you have any idea? You've been working with Derek for quite some time. Do you know Derek had that special card?
So going into the final 7, I knew Derek had a card, I knew Jace had a card, I knew Sabrina had a card, and I knew Shane had a card. So I knew there were 4 cards still in play. But I didn't tell anyone that I knew all 4 cards. Like, Jace didn't know about the moving up too, and he was really upset about that in the end. I was like, do what you want. These people got cards. I'm like, let's just see how everything falls in place. So I was just really upset I didn't find a card. Like you guys saw me in round the final 9 when I'm looking frantically like they just said there's a card somewhere. I was so upset. I wanted the full totem experience. I wanted to be the switch, the top. I wanted the card. Maybe they're first boot Josh.
Yeah, I remember that scene. You were in the bathroom. They were like, "Let's strategize." You're like, "No, guys, there's a card. We have to go find that card." You don't want anybody else to find it. So maybe an all-star season, an all-winner season, season 40. Let's see here. Final. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, folks. So you do a little fake out. You almost save Luke. Give Sabrina a little bit of a heart attack.
I just wanted some comedic relief at that point because it was very tense in the room. Yeah. And I mean, I got voted funniest, I guess, for a reason, and that probably was a testament to it. So,
all right, on that final challenge, you guys answer questions about how you know each other or how like different attributes go out to the contestants.
What happened in the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like who was like Kadia's like paddles were like purple or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the same thing. Oh, what were you saying?
I was just saying you didn't fare too well. You didn't win the challenge, and so but Sabrina did. What were your thoughts?
So going into the final 5, I wanted to win. Just say I had 2 top of the totem poles, but Sabrina winning was fine. In our mind, going into the final 5, we thought it was season 1 and season 2 rules, where the top of the totem pole will just rank, and then bam, final 3. No. There's still a switch, and there's still a defender. So we knew Jace was going to be the switch. We just didn't know who was going to be the defender. So it worked out, I guess, in the end for me, because I really thought Shane was going to choose me to defend him, and I was really upset when he didn't choose me, because it almost put me in danger. So.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. If maybe Shane wanted to have that his power move and be like, "Hey, I was wondering if he was going to use that at the finals, but he didn't." So
it would have been a good angle, honestly.
But so, congratulations, you make it to the finals. You were in front of the jury. Who are you most nervous to see on the jury?
Jace. Jace. Because I gassed this guy up the entire time saying, hell yeah, you're good, you're great, you're one of the best, we're both strong, we're the same, like we're gonna go to the end and just, talk about our games. I literally cut him in the same exact spot that he got cut in his first season. But I was nervous to see him, but before he left, he told me to go and win the whole thing. So I knew he was proud of me. I knew he was cheering for me. I felt bad about cutting Derek because we were riding to the end together. One thing that's if anyone knows me on social media, and especially at the end of the episode of the finale, I'm very Black Lives Matter for my people always. And Derek, he had that going into the house, and so did I. I just wasn't very confident that Derek's game was on par with mine. His was up here. In my eyes, I thought Derek's game was way above mine. So I had to cut him, of course, because I want to compete against people that are right here with me, and I just felt like Derek was, a couple of steps ahead. So, but as I can see watching it, I think Derek going into the end, I don't think would have changed too much.
He would have been a riskier choice to take to the end because he did play, he was just getting rid of everybody one right after the other. He was not afraid to make a move, and props to Derek. He played a great game, but he didn't it didn't really matter to him who he had to stab in the back to get to the end. So it would have been a much riskier choice to take to the finals. And I agree with the decision to go with Shane and Sabrina because it was very level playing field between all 3 of you. It was very close.
And I will continue to say it. I don't think my game was, miles better than theirs. I just think I had a lot more stronger connections than they did. But I think we all were thinking the same. Shane had his side alliances, and we all worked together. We all literally benefited each other in some way by helping each other out, giving information. We never were targeting each other at all. Shane had a small thought about it, in Final 4. But, I mean, I made it to the end with not a single vote cast against me. The first winner to ever do that. Like, not a single vote cast against me the entire game. So,
and I don't think you were. When was the last? Like, when were you in the bottom? Were like maybe the last round?
Final 7.
You went a while until you were ever nominated.
I didn't even touch the bottom literally until Final 7, and it was because there was only one safe spot. And I told him, hey, it's okay. I figured if I told him, like, no, I want to be that spot, maybe he would have put me up there. But at that point, it wasn't important to me because you don't need that, I think, on a resume, just because there really is no. If you win the last couple of totem poles, yeah, that's pretty impressive. But if you don't, like, you can kind of twist it like there's only one safe spot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I went pretty far without ever touching the bottom, and I'm pretty proud of that. So,
a great job. And from that spot, like, you got to get the cash prize, the merchandise, all that cool stuff, and a whole show. So, Josh, what's going on with that? Like, what's the show called? Yeah, what's up?
We have a couple. Yeah, it's in production right now. We're working on a couple of things. I don't really know 100% what we're going to land on or what we're going to stick on. All I know is that I can talk. I can talk for days. You give me a script. I can follow that. Somebody said a talk show would be kind of cute, and like maybe that would be cute. I don't know what we're going to do exactly, but it will be coming out within the next couple of months for sure. Like, we're going to pump that out for you guys just because, it's our promise. So.
Well, we're super excited to see whatever comes of it. So we can wrap things up here now, folks, a little bit. Any final thoughts for Josh before we let him go?
I'm excited for the fact that I know you're on production for season 4, right?
Yeah, so it's not, we haven't made like an official announcement yet, but if you go on the website, you'll see my picture, my picture there. But yeah, I joined production for season 4. I'm their newest project manager. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be organizing a lot, and my brain's going to be fried. But I love the Totem Pole so much, and I never thought the one day I was watching it in my living room that I would be helping plan and cast the season. But I definitely want to bring us to the next level because I believe in this concept. I believe in Wesley. I believe in our fans that literally, the fans literally keep this show going. I interact with a lot of fans. Caleb is like our biggest fan. I love Lucky. Like, we have so many fans of the show, and I want to like be part of that even more. So being on production for season 4, honestly is the best thing I got out of this, honestly. But I will say this: we need more women to apply. I look at applications literally every single day. We need more women. When we do not have enough women on this, like on our applications. And it's weird because season 3 we have more women than men play. So we need y'all to apply. We need women. We need more POCs and Black people. Y'all need to apply as well. I want this to be the most diverse season of reality TV ever, and we can't do that if you guys don't apply. I'm literally scrolling on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like, oh, you look like you'd be, a great fit. Do you like being, on the camera? You like TikTok? Great. This is a show. You can build a platform. I'm literally like searching. So if y'all know anyone that just wants to be on TV, we can teach them how to play the game. Like, it's not hard. Like, let us know because I'm very, very involved in this casting process with the rest of our team. So.
And a quick shout out to our site here at facebook.com/group/LRG casting. We have the Totem Pole application up there posted. And then I know you folks have the, I think the totempolegame.com. Is that correct?
Yes, the totempolegame.com. We have a lot of information there, a lot of pictures. We post minis usually every 2 weeks. So if you ever want to get a feel for how the game works, we literally pretty much modeled it into an online format. And you can play it just like we were in the game. And you might even see some familiar faces from the show. So definitely check us out in the minis. We also have a Patreon if you want to support the show. We're very, very small, like business, very small group of people. Clark can tell you it's really expensive to, build a season, to buy supplies and all of that. So definitely, so if you believe in us, in the concept, definitely don't hesitate to give us like $3 a month, $5. We'll take whatever.
It's only the cost of a cup of coffee a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would know. I work at Starbucks too.
No.
So.
Liz, any final thoughts for Josh here?
I don't think so. Just, love your work. You're one of our favorites, I think, watching the show. Loved that the real trio, and watching your journey has been really great.
I guess, Josh, what did you take from the experience? I know you talked about like all the joys, like joining production and everything, but specifically from the Totem Pole, like sometimes people learn about themselves or like discover a new facet. What did you take from the Totem Pole and watching it back on these episodes, especially?
I would say I took a couple of things, but the most important thing I took from it is that if I believe in myself and if I'm confident in what I can bring to people and what I can do, there's no reason for me to hide that. So I will be my biggest supporter. I will cheer myself on. I am very confident in my win. I tell Wesley I'm the best player to play this game. Like, I have the stats to prove it. If I believe all of this, if I want to show that off and, be my biggest, cheerleader, I can do that. And that's kind of worked for me in other aspects of my life. And I try to model that. And I try to just tell people, like, no, like, cheer yourself up. Like, don't put yourself down. Like, be your biggest, supporter. And I think that's what I got from this. One little cute moment I will say from the show, I had a couple of them. I'll share two things. The first one is, I forgot which round it was. I think it was Final Five. But every time I would walk in to do my vote, Wesley would always say, how you feeling? Like, what's your thoughts? And every time I'd walk out, I'm like, best time of my life. And I could truly meant that. Like, every single time I didn't miss a beat. I was always smiling. Like, this is so much fun. Like, I'm playing, like, this is the closest I'll ever get to Big Brother or Survivor. And it was so sweet. And there's a couple of moments in the Final Five when I went in and I sat down in the chair. There's a chair that they had in there when we went to go vote. And I was just like, guys, I don't, this might be the end. I don't know. And I was like, I worked so hard to get here. And Britt was like, everyone worked hard. I'm like, I know, but I worked harder. So I deserve. And me and Wesley had a moment. I was like, if it's my time, thank you so much. Like, you guys have done everything. It was such a good moment to have with Wesley. But after the game was over, me and Shane actually had a really, really sweet conversation. And it was just, I'll never forget it. It was very, very sweet of him to say everything we said and go over it. Shane's just one of the best people I've met out of this experience. So I took a lot out of it.
It's fantastic. And it's so great that you hear that you had that such great experience with the host. Liz as the Melbourne Survivor host, me as Adventure Coco Pele host, and Clark from his past work in Mayhem Manor and now soon to be the Root of All Evil. We really appreciate that. And we really, from a host perspective, that's really what we want our participants to take, to have that experience, to have like that life-changing moment. So thank you for playing. And for everyone out there, make sure you stay tuned for the totempole.game.com. Get your applications in so you can have something of the similar experience there too. Clark, special guest here tonight. Any final thoughts about Josh and his victory here?
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Thank you for letting me be a part of this tonight and letting me congratulate and support your win and reminisce on the Totem Pole, because it was just a fantastic season to watch.
Thank you, Clark.
And thank you all for watching tonight and all the Totem Talks that Liz and I have done over the season. Thank you for joining. Make sure you join facebook.com/live-reality-games to continue following all the great shows. You'll see Liz on Backyard Survivor some more. We don't know how her comeback comes. If it comes back or not, I have not watched the episode, and no spoilers here, folks. So thank you all, and thank you all, Liz, Clark, Josh especially. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and everyone have a great night. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.